Hello, and welcome to Pressing Buttons, Hoodie Edition. I'm Hugo,
I'm Nick.
and another great week, another great episode coming at you. It's a little bit chilly out there in New York City. It's brick.
Why you keep saying that? What is that? What does that actually
you don't
mean?
know
I've
the
never heard
brick
that phrase.
lexicon?
No.
You know, like it's so cold it hits like a brick.
Okay.
So
Oh, that makes sense.
that's what they say
It's
out in
brick?
the streets. Yeah,
Out in the streets? Okay.
Brick City.
Brick City,
Yeah.
yeah. It's hoodie. I think it was our first ever.
Yeah, just
Hoodie
wearing hoodies.
podcast.
Yeah. So, and we like hoodies too. We're big hoodie advocates.
Yeah.
Just more pockets to have.
Yeah. And I think first hat and hoodie.
Yeah.
I think.
First hat.
Maybe
for
I've
you.
had, maybe I had
No,
a hat
I
on
think
before.
you're the hat guy. I don't
Okay.
usually do a hat.
Crazy hat guy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's good
We're here.
to have some firsts. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Another great week, another great episode 51.
You already
coming
said
at
that,
you.
dude.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I just it's a
It is
process.
episode 51.
Yeah, episode 51. We're moving right along like a well-oiled machine. So good stuff for us. We're just gonna jump right into some video game news. It was a little bit hectic this week with a lot of cancellations, layoffs, and stuff like that. So we want to jump right into it. First big thing we want to talk about is EA. EA announced that they're canceling the Battlefield and Apex Mobile editions of their games, and then also that they're delaying Jedi Survivor till April 28th, about a month delay. It was supposed to come out towards the end of March, I believe the 17th or something like that, got delayed to April 28th now. Concerning news, especially just because I know Apex itself was very popular for them and it was doing well, but I just don't think they had the resources or the time to kind of focus on the mobile version of the game as well. And in terms of the Battlefield one, that one never really released. It was still kind of in open beta. And I know they have been having issues with the mainline Battlefield 2042 for consoles and PC. It's not doing as well as they would have hoped, and people are drawn more to other shooters than to the Battlefield universe. So it is kind of concerning when you see a lot of, especially since we had the recent layoffs with within the gaming community, seeing now canceled games, and this is kind of the effect of that, where first you see the layouts, then you see all these projects getting canceled or delayed and pushed back. The good thing about the delay for Jedi Survivor is that it's not like a big delay. The game is still getting released. It's just getting released a month after, giving one more month to polish it up. So that's good news in my eyes. Better to release a well-polished game than to kind of rush it and have all these issues and have to make day one patches for the game and kind of get all the fans upset for a shitty launch. What do you think?
For the Jedi Survivor game, like I feel like that's fine. Like small delays here and there, like
Yeah.
not a big deal. Like I don't know if that's necessarily directly connected with layoffs or whatever. Like that's probably just the normal course of
Yeah, it's more
the
polishing.
production cycle, and they just need a little bit more time. So yeah, I'm in no rush. We'll see how it plays when it comes out. But I'm very interested in that title, so
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna give it a try.
And it's a stacked 2023, so I think if maybe we were lacking in games in 2023, I would
Yeah,
be
like
more
last
upset
year I would
about
have been
it.
more annoyed, but with this year it's like I already have so much stuff that it's like not a big deal at all.
And then on the heels of that, we wanted to also talk about some live service games that got shut down, unfortunately. We have Rumbleverse, which is basically free-to-play battle royale, but you do like wrestling moves. That's shutting down only after 6 months of being released. It released in September. It's shutting down at the end of this month, February. And then we also have Knockout City, which is basically like a dodgeball game. It went free to play last June, and it's also shutting down June of this year. In regards to Rumbleverse, it is kind of under the Epic umbrella. So anybody that purchased anything, any purchases that were made, whether for the season or cosmetics, will get refunded. This reminds me of Paragon. If you guys haven't heard of it, Paragon was a MOBA third-person game that Epic released right before they started working on Fortnite. But then once Fortnite took off, they decided to move all the resources to Fortnite and cancel Paragon, much to my dismay because I really enjoyed the game and that's what kind of got me into MOBAs. But they were able to refund everybody just because they're made of money. They were printing so much money with Fortnite, seems to be the case here. They're refunding everybody's money back. And then as far as Knockout City, that game itself will be canceled completely. But it's weird because especially hearing from Sony that they're investing in a lot of live service games, and our thoughts on live service games, where it's really hard to capture that magic of live service games and capture that community to continue playing. I do feel like these two games were kind of very similar to Fortnite, so it wasn't really it was occupying a space that was already that already had a big contender in there. Where I think where if they can kind of get folded, maybe Fortnite comes up with their own version of the fighting the fighting Rumbleverse inside Fortnite, or the dodgeball inside Fortnite. I think that would work better than just a standalone thing. I don't think these were never poised to kind of be big breakout hits just because it's such a niche genre and game. And it kind of sucks because, I like seeing different innovative games out in the market, especially in the battle royale market, which is kind of a thing that picked up for a while. We see so many battle royale games these days. As we know, the video game development cycle and gameplay cycle kind of pick something up for a couple of years and they just kind of do that same thing, and that's been a while. That's been kind of the same thing for battle royales. That's been the it thing for a couple of years, just as the open world of Skyrim was the it thing for a couple of years. And it kind of sucks to see these things shut down, but you gotta have a big following and a big draw to have these type of games. I know we played Knockout City together and we had a lot of fun, but it wasn't really something that
I played both games, and yeah, that was the experience where played it for, I don't know, maybe a couple days. It's like, this is fun, but there just wasn't enough, at least for me, to keep me engaged and wanting to come back. And yeah, I mean, it's just like all these games that are trying to chase. They even kind of stylistically look like Fortnite, where they were kind of going for the more fantastical, cartoonish look of things, so that they could basically do what Fortnite does and make that style guide applicable to basically like every type of intellectual property that's out there. So I think they were clearly kind of like chasing a trend with those games. They were fun, but ultimately like not engaging enough to become sustainable. So it's kind of unfortunate, but I think you're going to continue to see that because there's so many big publishers still, trying to go for live service games, and they're targeting, like mass market style guides with, some sort of fairly straightforward like engagement loop. So I think you're going to still see a lot of companies placing bets on these things and not that many of them actually becoming successful. So, and I think what's happening now is we're seeing a lot happen at the same time because there's a lot of like layoffs and, so there's a broader trend of layoffs in the technology and games industry. And that's what's kind of unique to live service games is they need people, like they need staff, like, some staff working like basically around the clock on these games so that people can actually play them. So if you need to do layoffs for whatever reason, like, well, it's not very likely that you're going to be able to continue to support that game. So yeah, I think that's where I can't remember. I think those are the ones that I saw, but I think there's actually like an even longer list of
more games that got
like live service games that are getting canned. And yeah, you mentioned it with PlayStation, where I don't think this is gonna rattle their cages and cause them to kind of shift their strategy, but it is interesting to compare that with what's happening now versus their longer term goal of, I can't remember the number, it was like 12 to 15.
12 to 15
live service games over the next 5 years or so. So that's a lot.
It's a lot, and especially a lot of experiences, like you said, to have that community where it draws them in to pull a piece of the pie from other communities. It's kind of tough. I don't know if you saw the leaks. There was some leaks of the Horizon Battle Royale game. There was a video. It looks very similar to Fortnite, just in the Horizon
Really?
universe. And that in itself, from my opinion, just it's a leak, so I'm not gonna go too much into it. But if it does turn out to be that way, it's gonna have a hard time just like kind of pulling in a crowd because people want new experiences when it comes to these games, especially live service games. Why would they shift over to Horizon for Forbidden West or Horizon Zero Dawn, whatever that art, that style, that world when it's just in the Fortnite style when you could just play Fortnite.
And
You know what I'm saying?
I hope they launch it right after Tears of the Kingdom so that
So it
it doesn't do
sell.
anything.
Well, it's probably gonna be free
Yeah.
to play, so we don't know.
Yeah, true.
And that's why Bungie's there. That's why one of the reasons Sony said that they acquired Bungie because they do love the way that they handled live service game, that they've handled Destiny and the community and the passes and all that stuff, and keep the community engaged. But definitely, my opinion is just you have to have these different experiences. You can't just have the same market that somebody else has and expect to beat them in that sense. Which leads on into the next news, which is 343 hitting the reset button on Halo. And I know we talked about this before, especially with the layoffs that we talked about Microsoft having. There was a Bloomberg report that came out that basically saying that they're not making any more story DLC. They shut that down. There's no active work on Halo Infinite. They're switching from the Slipstream engine, which they've used but have had trouble using because it's based on an old code, into the Unreal Engine, which we've seen a lot of studios when they've been struggling. They switch out to the Unreal Engine just because of the ease of use and the time it takes for them to develop. This is like a big hit to Microsoft in terms of Halo being one of their biggest franchises, if not the biggest franchise that they have, and the fan expectations were high when Halo Infinite came out. And I know I've seen you guys play it, and it does not look fun to me.
Yeah, it's just almost like it's a thing to be doing while you're just like talking to your friends.
Yeah,
Like I would not play that game in single player mode.
yeah.
Like the campaign is
It does seem like
pretty bare bones.
that nostalgia of playing with your friends in middle school or whatever, hooking up your Xboxes together, just playing the multiplayer online. It doesn't seem like it's there. It doesn't seem like the campaign itself is fun. The campaign was never a big thing of Halo, so that's one of those things where like it's neither here nor there, so that doesn't matter. But you do have to nail the multiplayer. You do have to nail that at least to get the community in there. And I feel like, especially with the delays of the seasons and the season pass, they're not adapting well to what they're supposed to be doing. And that's one of the things that a lot of the fans of the game and of the genre have been saying against them, that the season pass suck, it's overpriced, you're not getting what you're investing the time in. And as gamers, if one thing that we don't want to waste is our time. Obviously, when why waste my time playing one game that I'm having a hard time or just not like playing it when I could be playing something I'm enjoying? And that's what all these developers kind of want from you, their time, and they're not doing a good job. I do think hitting the reset button does help just because it'll reinvigorate the team to kind of make the game that they want and hopefully the game that the gamers will enjoy. And I'm excited to see where this goes, but obviously because it is a reset, it might take a while for us to see anything come of fruition. Do you think this is the right track, or do you feel like they should have just kind of fixed whatever
No,
they
yeah,
have now?
I mean this is like 3 to 5 years past due
Yeah.
in terms of trying to maximize the value of the Halo intellectual properties. So, I guess it's good that they're doing it now, but I kind of feel like the writing's been on the wall with 343 being the steward of the Halo franchise and just them not being able to deliver games that resonate with the Halo community. So, so I don't exactly know what a reset button means. Like, it seems like it's a step in the a right direction at least, but I think they could even go more extreme with like a completely different way of managing the Halo IP as opposed to it being kind of assigned to this one studio that's been through been through a bit of a ringer in the last several years. So so yeah, it's good. We're probably not going to see anything for a long time, but hopefully they can do something to make the Halo games actually, kind of like the marquee franchise for the platform. Because right now it's just not like you're like watching us and we're like you said something about like the campaign. Like to me, obviously, like multiplayer has always been huge. I've enjoyed the campaigns, but again, like those are campaigns from 15,
15 years
however
ago,
long
yeah.
ago, and they're just like if you play the campaign now in Halo Infinite, like you're just like, oh, this is like really not that dissimilar to a campaign from
Yeah,
the original Xbox.
doesn't
Like,
look fun.
yeah. So I don't think they've done much to kind of modernize
The grappling hook was fun. I think that was the only thing that looked fun.
I
the
literally
grappling
thought
hook.
I think like the creative process was like, okay, what do we do? How about we just do exactly Halo 1 campaign, but now we have a grappling hook.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like it's like kind of fun, but not that big of a game changer. So say we're kind of like going through the motions a bit in the Halo campaign. I don't know, like maybe we play it one more time, but yeah, I'm not like
It's not something you want
itching to go back and be like, oh, I really got to complete this.
especially
So,
with all these games coming out
Yeah.
that will draw your attention and take your
Yeah.
time. It is funny well, not funny, but it is good to see the comparisons, especially with the canceled games and Halo. Obviously, you have Rumbleverse and Knockout City and all that stuff getting canceled. They didn't have the fan base and all that stuff to maintain just like give us a chance, we'll fix it eventually. Whereas with Halo, you do have the fan base. It's a major franchise. You can't just like say, hey, let's cancel this and then we'll figure it out in a couple of years with a new game. It has to still live while at the same time you're
Yeah.
trying to create something else in the same thing.
yeah. And I also feel like they had a misstep with the TV show,
Yeah,
which you watched that,
I
right?
watched a couple episodes.
Okay.
It wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah. I think as more companies are doing this, I think one distinction is, my understanding is the Halo TV show was developed by people who did not give a shit about the games.
they didn't
or
even read anything
Yeah,
or play
yeah.
anything. That was one
So
of the
like
big
that,
things.
it's just like that. That's just like a very like old media way of like working with IP from other formats. So I think you're gonna continue to see more of the model that Last of Us is doing, where I don't think it's gonna be that extreme, where it's like the director of the game is it's probably won't be that, but
Yeah.
like they'll at least have a seat at the table with developing the actual show, and people developing the show actually have a passion, or at least are interested in the narrative and the universe of the game. Not that that's the only thing that matters, but like I think it's going to be like a minimum requirement that like the development team actually cares about the IP.
Well, like you said, it's weird that nobody played the game. They said they weren't going by any other games or anything like that. But if the show sucks, but you go by the game, at least you have the game fans that are watching the show. But if you don't go anything by the game, you're not gonna have the game fans, and then the show also sucks. You're not gonna have the regular fans that just walk
There's
into
like
it.
a Venn diagram that like explains how to do this, and then I think they just completely ignored the gaming, like that you just can't do that.
And that's one of the things I give kudos to Sony, especially since they're developing a lot of their IPs into television and movies with Gran Turismo, Horizon, God of War. I know Corey Barlog is working with the people that are working on Amazon with the God of War, so that's going to be kind of faithful, or kind of lead into it. So it's something that could have definitely given the game more popularity, could have boosted the sales, could have brought more people into it, hyped it up more, but it didn't turn out so well. So it's what's up in the air, what's up in the future. We'll see how it goes along. Obviously, they're not going to do away with Halo because it's one of their things. They might have to put it to sleep for a little bit and then see what comes up later, but we'll see.
Yep.
All right, and then moving on to that, we will be talking about the PS VR2, supposed to be releasing on the 22nd. Sony, according to a Bloomberg report, cut the projected sales. They cut the production from 2 million to 1 million instead. Obviously, the price point of the headset itself, which is $550, way more than the disc-based PS5. Kind of doesn't help on that. The games don't help on that. We haven't really seen any reviews yet, but there hasn't been anything that draws people's attention. I know they're pushing Gran Turismo and they're pushing the Horizon VR game, but it is kind of weird where they were really, really, really hyped about this and they were pushing it and they were like, yay, PSVR2. And now that we're getting closer to the release of the headset, it kind of, we get all these weird bad news. What are your opinions on this?
Yeah, it's like we don't really know because I know Bloomberg reported that, and then I think Sony denied it. So, who knows what's really going on? But I wouldn't be surprised if they are scaling back production just based on kind of other signals that they're seeing in the market with layoffs and maybe some actual production challenges, other feedback from previews and things like that. So that wouldn't be that surprising. My own personal stance is I haven't seen much from like a content thing. So I would expect there's a lot of people that are just like, okay, like the device looks great. It's very expensive. What are the games that are going to convince me to actually buy that? And I still don't think there's anything that's like earth shattering out there that's going to convince people to buy it. So, for me, like I'm kind of flip-flopping a bit where I think this was like last year. I was like, I just kind of want a new VR headset for really no reason other than just wanting one. I had my eyes set on the PS VR2. I assumed that there was going to be more compelling games at launch, and I just haven't really seen any up until recently, where I've looked at some more of the previews and the videos for Gran Turismo, and it just looks insane.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
so, and I think we just recently talked about this, right? Where we're both like not big racing sim people at all. So that's, even knowing that about myself, that I'm not a racing sim guy.
You want to get in it.
It's still just like, pushing me to be like, oh shit, maybe I do try to get one of these at launch because Gran Turismo looks like so cool.
Well, it'll be available because not a lot of people are buying it. So
yeah. So I don't know what. It's tough. Like I'm probably not going to get it at launch, but maybe shortly after launch, if there's a gap in my available game time, and you can actually easily get a PSVR2, maybe I'll dabble in Gran Turismo. But other than Gran Turismo, like I don't like Horizon. Everything else is like.
Well, they haven't even shown stuff on Horizon either. Like except like the
it was like a tech demo thing,
cinematic stuff or anything like that.
But if it's like the bow and arrow, like I've done enough bow and arrow VR things where I just don't care.
It's the perfect VR thing.
No, it's great for if you like Horizon. Like I could see that being
I'm
great.
saying the bow and arrow is like, I feel like it's the perfect.
Yeah, I know, but
I've
just done it. That's like 50% of the games on the Vive is just like bow and arrow.
You can shoot a bow and arrow.
So yeah, there's not that many compelling titles, at least again for me. And then there's a lot of I think it's like 30 or so games that they're planning on launch, but a lot of them are like the VR games that have been around for a while. So there's like nothing really new and exciting for me. Yeah. So yeah, that's like the math I got to do. It's like, okay, am I spending $600? So, the PSVR2 headset, Gran Turismo. Is that $70 title? I don't even know. Maybe it's $70.
I think it's like $50.
Is it 50? Okay.
Yeah. But then the taxes, yeah.
And then taxes, and then I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going Gran Turismo, do I get a wheel, pedals, seat, chair? Like, that's $2,000.
Yeah, but that's the other thing, because if you're thinking about it, you're getting Gran Turismo, so you feel like you're in a car, but then the VR paraphernalia is not like a wheel and stuff, so then you gotta get that stuff. Yeah, it's a lot.
So it's a money pit, and basically every year I fall victim to one money pit. So this might be the money pit, but
I don't see anything coming out this year, so that might be your money pit.
Yeah, didn't we just? So when we were talking about things we were excited for this year, I think I actually said, I'm like, oh yeah, not a lot of computer, like I think I'm actually good this year. Like not gonna buy any new GPUs or monitors or whatever. And then now here we are where I'm like, I'm going full blown driving rig.
We're gonna display it on the podcast one of these days if you get it.
Well, I kind of don't have a choice because where would it go?
Yeah,
like I think it's just gonna be like
in a corner
over
somewhere.
there. I mean, it kind of has to, or maybe over there. Maybe over there. Yeah, maybe I could.
Or right there.
Maybe I could do it over there.
There you go.
Okay, we'll see. I'll figure it out.
One other thing I want to say about this, I think it's a year too early. They just announced that the PS5 is widely available. You could go to a store and pick it up. You can order it online and it'll be shipped during normal shipping times. So I do feel like it's a year too early. Everybody's able to get a hold of the PS5 now, yeah, but they're spending all this money on the PS5, and like you said, the cost of the PS VR2 to ask people to spend another $500 and some on that, it's too much. And the games themselves, like you said, not enough. So I think that's my point of view on it. I do wish it would come out next year and there'd be more stuff for it, but you can't. The plans that they had already doesn't call for that, so I can see why. But it could definitely do use with like a year of cooking, if you could say
Cooking,
that.
stewing.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what the reception is. Like you said, Sony also refuted the report, so we don't know who's who. But Bloomberg is trusted, so we'll see when the VR comes out. We'll see the reception. We'll see if it's worth it, and we'll see if Nick falls into the money pit.
We'll see.
All right, so that does it for all the news we wanted to discuss this week, and we're gonna move on to some closing thoughts, and I will lead off. Big news: finished Ghost of Tsushima. So that's 2 games, baby. 2 games finished for me.
Should you just like do like tick marks on the wall?
Yeah,
we can just carve it right into the drywall of my background.
Yeah, we give it a nice show background.
Yeah,
put something on the
give
wall.
us some character back there.
But yeah, I finished Ghost of Tsushima. Enjoyed the game. I was actually having this discussion with D-Pass on Discord, which, by the way, thanks everybody that's joined Discord the last couple of weeks. I feel like we've got a huge influx of people.
Yeah.
So thank everybody for joining. If you're not on Discord, please join us. The link is in our website. It's a growing community, and it's a pretty fun community.
What's the website again?
Pressing Buttons GG?
Pressingbuttons.gg.
Yeah.
That's an important bit of information.
Yeah, we just have so many GG stuff that I get them all. It's all GGs in my head. So pressingbuttons.gg, you can get our YouTube links, our Discord links, our Twitter stuff, everything you can get there on our website. But yeah, I was talking with D-Pass, our designer, who's also made some great shirt designs, which in the future...
Hey, spoilers.
Yeah, in the future, you will probably be able to get this, probably. We'll see. We're still working it out. But I was talking to him, and we were having a discussion how before I had said that Horizon Forbidden West was a very long game, and it was dragging, and I hated like the side quest. And even though Ghost of Tsushima was also a long game, I believe I put like 38 hours into it, and in Horizon I put like 90 hours into it. I felt like...
Well, you played that game for 90 hours?
Yeah, that's what it
Oh
said
my God.
on my PlayStation wrap-up for the year. It said I played Horizon 90 hours. It was my most played game. I was like, what the fuck? Let me tell you, about 50 of those hours were not enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do feel like just because the side quests in Ghost of Tsushima were shorter and also more personal, I enjoyed them more. And just it was wonderful to look at the world and everything you could do in the world. And I love samurais and all that stuff. And also, I felt like the story was really good. Jin battling his samurai honor of not stabbing people in the back and being an assassin and all that stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny at the beginning of the game. Where he
No, but it does a really good job of like throughout the game him battling that internally until he gets used to it, while his uncle is like, that is not the way of the samurai. And he's like, bro, we got to do this. These Mongols are fucking everybody up. We can't be honorable because they're not honorable kind of thing. But it's a good dilemma. And I think they ended it well because they give you a choice of like, what do you want to do? No spoilers there because I know you haven't finished it. But
I already know what you did.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Oh. we'll talk about it off camera. But yeah, it's a great
Just
game.
Whatever the more scumbag choice was is the one that you did.
Whoa. I may be a scumbag in real life, but
Okay.
I make,
Oh, yeah,
in
you
video
gotta-
games I make good choices.
You're a good person in video games? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I always pick the good side on video games.
Really? I'm the opposite.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, yeah. I'm a scumbag in real life. That's what
Okay.
it is.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
I'm also a scumbag in real life, so maybe I'm just double scumbag.
That's not a good way to be.
Okay.
But yeah, if you haven't played it or if you have it and haven't finished it, definitely pick it up. I know Nick is gonna pick it up soon because we want to do some of the raids and stuff, the co-op stuff together, which I'm pretty sure will be fun. Right now, I'm playing the DLC. I'm probably gonna be doing it on and off because I want to move on and play Dead Space Remake. But definitely, Ghost of Tsushima, I feel like I'll still be playing it for a couple more weeks at least, or whenever we manage to get the group together and do the raids and the co-op stuff. Other thing, I did see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and I know I didn't see it when it came out in theaters, just because like I haven't been in the mood to go
And
to a theater.
you're a self-proclaimed Marvel movie hater too.
I'm
so
not a
that's
Marvel-
important context.
I'm not a
knowing-
Marvel movie hater. I'm a Marvel recipe hater or whatever. The way they make their movies, the CGI sucks. It always the climax is this big CGI battle, which kind of sucks. So the third act, you already know that's what's going to happen. And honestly, I think the only Marvel movies that I like was The Winter Soldier because that was cool action and it felt like a spy thriller. I liked Doctor Strange just because it was different. It had Sam Raimi's feel, even though I know Marvel toned it down because they were like, "Oh, this is too much color. This is too much fun. Can't have that." And then No Way Home I liked, but that was more because it had the other Spider-Man in it. I thought it was still bland, but it's just Marvel fatigue has hit me. And I know it's hit a lot of people, but people will still watch the movies because they do want to see these characters and they do want to see everything kind of connect. But it is kind of weird that all these movies that they're making is just for another long payoff for a movie that's not going to come out for another 5 or 6 years. Like all these movies that they're making now are just a payoff for what's the one that they're doing? Secret Wars or
Secret Wars.
yeah. So like I'm just gonna wait and watch them on TV. I'm not gonna pay money in theaters. Which
Yeah.
brings me to the other thing, which is that I saw the James Gunn DCU 10-year plan, and I'm a person that prefers more DC than Marvel. I like all characters, but I grew up with Superman when I was young. Like I loved the Christopher Reeve Superman. I like the hope that it instilled in it. Even though I like the Henry Cavill Superman, it was kind of just beat him up and stuff like that. I do want that hope of like Superman being a nice guy, and then I'll have Batman be the rough guy, so kind of thing. I did like the plans. It does seem like they will be a connected universe, but the stories will be told their own separate things, and it looks like he's trying to say that the directors will also have their own vision, so all the movies aren't going to look cookie cutter, kind of the same thing. So I'm excited for that. And there are some titles that they announced that I'd never heard of. Like I don't know much about Booster Gold, but it seems like a good series for him to adapt.
Yeah, as soon as like James Gunn's, getting to, I was like, there's gonna be a Booster Gold movie.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
he did a great job with Peacemaker, and I didn't know
Yeah.
much about that. And he's writing the Superman movie. They're making that Batman and Robin movie. Robin being Damian Wayne, Batman's son, which is a new take, which I'm glad for. Even though they're also keeping the Robert Pattinson Batman for one more movie, which I'm fine with that too. I know people were like, "Oh, 2 Batman." I'm like, whatever. Just enjoy your
there's
Batmans.
3 Spider-Mans in one movie.
Yeah, better to have 2 Batmans
Yeah.
than no Batmans,
Yeah.
guys. They're doing the Swamp Thing, which I like. I enjoyed the Swamp Thing TV show, and I'm kind of excited to see that in the big screen and it'd be like a big horror thing. The Authority, I had a coworker, this old guy, who lent me the book like 2 years ago, and I'm like, who are these guys? I've never heard of these guys, and it's kind of funny that they're making a movie about this, but I enjoyed the comic book, so I'm excited to see that. And then all the TV shows that they're doing as well. They're doing like a Wonder Woman TV show, but not based on Wonder Woman, just based on The Island and all the other stuff. So I'm excited for that DCU 10-year plan. Hopefully it doesn't give me Marvel fatigue, but I think the most thing I'm excited for is just I want to see Superman. I want to see a Superman that gives hope and is just a nice guy and is kind of having an existential crisis about how powerful he is, and just has to be nice.
Yeah.
What about you?
Cool.
What are your closing thoughts?
Yeah, no, I wonder. So I totally agree on Marvel fatigue. I've been experiencing a version of that where I can't remember which movie I stopped with, but basically every Marvel movie I saw in theaters at launch for the first 15 or however many, and then again I can't remember exactly when I stopped doing that, but like I don't see these movies in theaters like at all, like ever. Like I think the only exception is maybe Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I really don't get super excited about checking these out in theater. I'm very, very fatigued by them. Maybe I see Ant-Man.
That looks fun.
Like it's like maybe I see Ant-Man. I'll probably see Guardians of the Galaxy, unless it gets like just absolutely trashed in terms of reviews.
But those are the outliers that you feel like they're Marvel movies. They're Marvel movies, but they're just
but yeah, definitely there definitely seems to be like a vibe of people getting kind of burned out by these movies, and I wonder how much of that kind of like migrates to DC, like whether some of that burnout kind of persists.
Yeah.
Where other people are just like, I don't want to. I'm not investing into like another.
I think it'll actually push people to DC. Maybe like they
maybe yeah. It could go either way. I'm just wondering how much of this, like, will people getting burned out by Marvel movies, like, will that just stay with Marvel characters, or will some of that behavior like bleed over into what James Gunn's trying to do with the DC universe? So we'll have to wait and see on that.
One thing I did want to say, because I was reading this article on the AV Club about Edgar Wright and how Edgar Wright was originally supposed to do the first Ant-Man, and then they just had like creative differences.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I now understand it. Like when I first read it, I'm like, oh man, he's not gonna do a Marvel movie. But if you've seen Edgar Wright movies, if you've seen Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, and stuff like that, he has like a very unique style. And I guess Marvel didn't want that, and I can see now.
No style allowed.
Yeah, so it kind of sucks, and maybe we'll see him in one of these DC movies or something like that, because Marvel needs some style.
Yeah. The other, so it was a cool announcement. Actually, kind of impressive how quickly he arrived at that plan, because doing multi-year
He was probably
plans.
thinking about this a while.
Yeah, it's like doing, so who knows, like maybe behind the scenes he's been, he knew he was going to get this role or something like that. But if you believe the date that they announced that he was going to be like, I think it's like what, co-CEO of
I think it was like
DC
November,
Studios
right?
or something like that. So whatever his title is, I think it was like the end of last year. So to go from that date to like, a few days ago where he's like, all right, here's like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like just to have clarity around exactly what you want to do over that time period. The one thing that was a question mark was the games. So I think he referenced there being a shared universe across.
They're trying to like get whatever actor plays a character in a movie is also going to play it in the show. It's also going to play it in a animated series. It's also going to play in a video game. So that's going to be weird.
Yeah, I think he might change his mind on that. Yeah, I think it's a cool ambition, but I think practically speaking, that might be tough to pull off. But who knows?
And it doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, especially like with Kevin Conroy passing away, and then Mark Hamill not wanting to do the Joker because Kevin Conroy can't do Batman anymore. That like. You couldn't see anybody else doing Batman and Joker in an animated series, and then like you can't have those guys do the live action. So that would never work. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna keep that one. That's one of those things that will probably not work how he wants it to.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Didn't you want to talk about The Last of Us?
Oh, well, are you done? You're done? That's all.
No, that was you. You were. Oh, okay, that's right.
What? No, we didn't. We didn't move over to me.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's it. That's it for
All
Mike.
right, well, now we can talk about me.
I thought you also wanted to talk about the DCU stuff.
No. What have I been doing? It's been pretty light. I've been surprisingly busy, unfortunately.
For a man who doesn't have a job.
Yeah. So not a lot of game time. I did play more Hi-Fi Rush. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a great title. I am kind of amused by. There seems to be like a lot of people saying, "Oh my god, it's my early game of the year content." I'm like, okay, it's January. It's 2023 has an insane
So I
number
wanted to
of
ask you about that.
huge titles coming out.
Is it because you don't think it's a game of the year contender? Is it because it's too early to tell because we haven't seen all the other games and you're still waiting on like the Final Fantasies to come out and all that stuff and you don't know what the slate is, or you just don't think it is a game of the year contender? Because we could say the same thing for Elden Ring. Elden Ring came out the second month of last year, and people were saying game of the year, game of the year.
Yeah. It's the game. I mean, it's less about. It's definitely like Elden Ring. It's just this giant, expansive experience, and it just does a lot. And I think kind of pushed the envelope of what that genre could do. Whereas this is just it's a really
It's a good
fun
game.
game. Yeah,
but
it's a great title, but I think if you were to play it, you'd kind of understand where I'm coming from. Where the level design and it's pretty straightforward. It kind of reminds me of more like the PS2 era, like platformer
Gotcha.
games. It's just like very polished and like the game looks amazing. So like the graphics are great. The rhythm combat is interesting, but so I don't want to make it sound like I'm like downplaying the game. Like it's a great game. I'm just like, but it's gonna have.
But it's not game of the year.
Yeah, but I just don't know if it's game of the year.
Yeah,
So.
you still have Zelda. You still have Final Fantasy, the 16 and the remake part 2. I
Rebirth,
always forget what the name
I
of
think
it
it's
is.
Rebirth, right? No,
Or Reborn, whatever.
Reborn.
It is.
Yeah, something.
The remake part 2. Suicide Squad's supposed to be big too. There's still a lot of games to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Starfield,
So-
if that ever comes out and people
Nah,
like it.
I mean that's also
That's
not
not
game of the year. Yeah, that's not game of the year. Maybe it gets nominated, but it's not winning.
And Elden Ring DLC. I mean, that can't be game of the
Yeah,
year,
that's
but we
not
don't know
game of
that if that comes out.
Yeah. So no, I just thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah, there's something unique about this game where it's like getting people to say this comment
Yeah.
a lot. And
Yeah, I
think
think you're right. It's more like it's early in the year, man. Play something else.
yeah, I think the shadow dropping or shadow like launching of the game really actually helped it out.
Yeah.
Like I think it just got people like, oh my god, like
Yeah,
I
can play this
yeah,
right
I can play this
now.
now, and
new game,
it's it's really good, and so I think that's actually I don't know if that's going to be a good strategy for that many games, but I think it actually is working very well for this title. So
We're on a dry period when nothing's coming out, and it was a
Yeah.
good strategy.
yeah. So I think that's pretty much it from gaming, and then we already talked about playing more of the Halo Infinite campaign during our game night, where maybe we do one more session of that, but we're just kind of going through the motions of just
You're just waiting
walking
for another. Yeah, you're
around,
just waiting for another game to take its place.
shooting stuff. There's like certain missions where you need to get into buildings, and it's like, how do you even get in here? I just kind of got bored and just was like killing my my teammates,
Yeah,
just because I was like throwing shit at them, and
Weren't even
because
playing
I needed I wasn't even really playing the game anymore. So I don't know, maybe we do like
it was
I'm
very
not-
sad watching you guys play that.
yeah.
You guys look more when you turned it off and started playing Rocket League. You guys look way better.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Rocket League is incredible.
The cleanser.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it on games, and then I have been watching The Last of Us. I can't remember if we talked about it last week. I said I knew I was going to watch the show for sure.
Yeah, we talked
I was gonna
about last week
wait-
that you started
So I
watching.
just started, okay, yeah, because initially my plan was just to wait until they're all out and then watch it, but then we just happened to like need a show to watch. So we started that up. I watched episode 3. Have you seen episode 3 yet?
Yeah, pretty good.
Damn.
I
That
like,
was great, dude.
yeah, and I don't mind talking about it, but I do like that they expanded. How far did you get in the game? Did you get to this far? To what episode?
I don't think I got this far. I think I basically got to the test.
The test part.
Yeah, the test
Okay.
part. Yeah.
All right, yeah. It's so as somebody that I beat the game and remembering this part in the game, I like how much they expanded onto it. It's not a spoiler to say in the game you only really see Bill's perspective, and then you get Frank's perspective through like letters that you collect throughout the level. So you know, in the episode they actually showed much more of their life together, which I enjoyed. I know a lot of people enjoyed. I do like these changes that they're making of certain things. We'll see how far it goes with the rest of the episodes for the seasons. Especially, I know there's a lot more big moments to come, so I'm excited to see how those play out. But I think they're doing a good job. I know they got review bombed by a bunch of homophobes on like IMDb or something.
Oh,
like
really?
That. Yeah, so that sucks. But you know, we know that they're just doing that because they're haters, not because they don't like it.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job. It was a very good emotional episode, and the viewership is still up, so that's good. You know, that's
I think this episode's gonna drive a lot of
more.
buzz and attention because it's almost kind of like its own standalone like story. And yeah, I just find it so fascinating because it's such a good example of something that they needed to adapt for television, because in the game, you know, you can read pages and interact with all these, like you can't do that in a TV show, right? So they needed to take a different approach to you know, kind of that relationship and that narrative. So yeah, I just thought it was really well done, and I think it's I don't know, I just think you're going to see more of that, where I think people are going to become more accepting of differences in the game versus the TV show or the movie or whatever, and people being okay with that and actually intrigued by it, where it's almost kind of like that game of like spot the difference, where people, you know, like it's almost like a version of that. And I think instead of people being pissed about it being different, they'll embrace it and actually will lead to like more excitement and engagement with the overall. I mean, like on like TikTok and like YouTube Shorts, like it's literally just all of this content about people being like, did you see this Easter egg to the game? Or like, here's the different.
They're wearing the
so
shirt that's in the game.
Yeah. So it's like I think people just are going to start enjoying that more, as opposed to that being like something that people are critical of.
And you know, this opens up the doors for more adaptations. We definitely, there's a lot more games that we've enjoyed that we, you know, would love to see get made into Bubsy. I'm looking at your Metroid thing. I'd love to see like a Metroid show or anything Final Fantasy, just covering any other Final Fantasies that's not 7. I'd be fine with, or just something like that. It's good to see these successful video game adaptations, whether it's a movie or TV, be successful, and people learning more about it, which will drive the sales of the games. In your case, getting the Last of Us game and actually playing it on PC, even though
I knew you were going to mention this. So I think this was one of our earlier episodes, right, where I disclosed my relationship with Naughty Dog, where I buy all of their games but never beat them, and kind of grown like a resentment towards their games, where like I just feel like their games just like aren't for me. Like for whatever reason, I can just never get through them. But here we are. The PC version will launch in, is it March or
March 28th? It got pushed from the 3rd, I believe, to the 28th.
Yeah. So I'm now leaning towards getting the game on PC because I've been really enjoying the TV show, and so here we are. It's the strategy works.
Well, we'll see if you actually beat it. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Once you get it.
Yeah. I also think I'll like it better on mouse and keyboard. So I think that'll be, which I know, you know, that won't be for everyone, but I think I'll actually prefer playing mouse and keyboard.
Well, it doesn't, you know, not to be like a conspiracy theorist, but I wonder if they pushed it back because they want people to finish watching the show before they jump into the game, kind of thing. That's just kind of like a funny thing.
I thought they were going to launch it kind of in the middle of, but now it's going to be after all the episodes are done.
All the episodes are done.
Yeah, I think either could work. Maybe they have, maybe they just know more about how it's ending and how they think that might generate more audience or something. So we'll see. It's also it's PC. I don't think they're actually expecting I mean, they're already seeing huge uplift in PlayStation.
In the
right?
PlayStation,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So like, I don't actually know if I'm sure it's going to do well on PC, but I don't know if that is
It'll be
specifically going
a
to
big
generate
driver, yeah. Well,
for PC. It'll be, still leading a lot of value for PlayStation though.
all right. Well, can't wait to see episode 4.
It's tomorrow, right?
It's tomorrow, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, that does it for us here at Pressing Buttons. Thank you for joining us. Stay warm or get warm, and we'll see you next week on the next episode. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick. Later.